Hello, this is Cryptolyze. I hope you are well on this Tuesday, 17 October 2023. We're meeting today to talk about FET, FETCH.AI's crypto. So as usual, we're going to sequence it in two parts. A fundamental part. We will come back to what Fetch is, its usefulness, its current affairs. Then we will move on to the technical part to plan on courses. Medium, short, long-term on purchase prices, sales prices to understand where we are technically and what opportunities we could seize. As a reminder, you always have the possibility of having free access to the educational course, which is a 60-hour training course worth €400, which allows you to learn blockchain, crypto, investment, technical analysis, trading, everything to become profitable. Through 130 videos, 400 pages of guides, quizzes to find out where you are in your progress, and all for free. To have access to this lifelong training, simply use the platform of one of our partners. Everything is explained in the comments and descriptions. What is FETCH.AI? So FETCH.AI is a marketplace specializing in providing AI. To put it simply, you just need to create and deploy your AI and therefore its automation directly on FETCH.AI so that you can monetize it. It's really a marketplace that could be characterized as AI to service. It's the principle where we will buy the direct use of artificial intelligence to do a task, and we will have access to that. They go a little further because they provide a set of interconnections. That is to say that from the moment I deploy an AI on Fetch, I have the possibility of interfacing it with already quite a few things like Discord, Slack, WhatsApp, or Google Calendar, for example. Other integrations, there is marked view, all integration, and there are still a lot of things that are made available. The interface is rather well done. The goal is really to have a single point in which we will deploy our artificial intelligence, and then the entire business model and integration part will be supported by the platform itself. So does it work well? It's already working. That's a good thing. Does it work well? Here I'm already having a little more trouble because there are relatively few that are really useful in terms of AI that we can find on the marketplace. We have quite a few pure uses, but the concept itself is interesting. The principle is as follows. We design our own AI agent. So if I am a developer, I want to build it. I build it. And instead of making it available, I will monetize it by making it available on Fetch. So the principle itself is really interesting, but is there a structural market for this? That's the big question we need to ask ourselves, because clearly we have two schools. We have the school where we have artificial intelligences which are developed in open source in which there is no interest to find, in fact, this type of intelligence available in FETCH.AI where someone uses open source code to put, and we are very far from the notion of using classic open source code. And we have the opposition who will want them to be developed internally by companies and in which it is certain that monetization will not happen on Fetch. So is there a market for Fetch? This is really the big question that we will have to ask ourselves, and this is the big question where we will potentially have a valuation or not of the token in relation to that. The token itself serves several purposes, paying fees and managing governance among other things. So we're just going to take stock of the token, then we'll come back to Fetch. In terms of the token, we still have something that has a total supply of 1 billion facts for a diluted market cap of 243 million. On this, we have an inflation which is constant. And when we look at the release of the token, I managed to have this one, in which we see that we had the majority of the tokens which were released, but there remains, in relation to where we are, 2023. Here there are approximately 10% of the tokens that will be released in the coming years. So we have very little dilution. We have a little dilution, but very little dilution. And we have two tokens. We have a token which is on ERCT20, the FET token, which no longer necessarily has a pure utility, being that now they have built their own blockchain with their own FET token, which is integrated into a notion of proof of stake. The principle was this. It was to build an ecosystem and an infrastructure that could run artificial intelligence to make it available to developers. Clearly, here we have the hosting part. This is what I have just explained to you. The service part, which is the interfacing. We will have the engine, which is made available, which allows us to really monetize the AI, and we will see everything that is classic. IoT, therefore, the Internet of Connected Objects, which we find as a frequent narrative in artificial intelligence. We talk a lot about IoT, so obviously when we have a project which talks about artificial intelligence and blockchain, we regularly talk about IoT too. So, to end on this, I tend to tell you that it is an interesting project. It is a very nice proof of concept. Is it viable in the long term in terms of business? I don't necessarily think so. On the other hand, is it viable in terms of speculation? We touch on blockchain, we touch on the marketplace, we touch on artificial intelligence. If we ever have a narrative that is built like that on the next bull run, yes, we will have a valuation. On the other hand, I think we will have to think about taking profits very quickly if we do not have a modification to the project itself. So we go to the graphs to project ourselves. You will see that we have something which is relatively clean, in which we have a nice accumulation here, which gave precisely a break, a retest, and an acceleration, which gave a huge wick-off distribution, in which we clearly see the stopping of the upward trend with the buying climax, automatic rally, secondary test, the sign of weakness, and then we did UTAD, in which we took a liquidity hold, a second liquidity hold, and then a bearish breakout. So we have a very good distribution which gave us precisely this bearish movement that we experienced, which had been validated in particular by the bear market that we experienced, and this bearish break behind also gave another implementation place. Another distribution which is lowered here. ARST SAO. So overall we could say that we could look for a UTAD here, therefore implying new ATAs. So on the other hand, several things are obviously necessary. One, the protocol must attract, so there must be an incentive. There must be a narrative built around it. I don't think the protocol itself is profitable and won't be profitable for a very long time, if ever. So it will really be speculation that we will have to look for, and therefore for speculation, the technical analysis is very good because we see clearly that we have had the arc here of artificial intelligence, and we see that we have already retraced a big part. We have retraced how much I haven't looked at besides we are going to look straight away. Almost here is 786, and we stopped right there, which is interesting. That there we have a level which has 886, in which we have the break here of acceleration. Bullish, we have the accumulation here. Acceleration with liquidity taking, retest, acceleration. Exactly the same principle that we experienced here, okay? Shorter, but it's the same principle. And what we're waiting for is potentially me to have a retest of this level, going to get the 0.125 here. Seems to me to be interesting in terms entry point if we are ever interested in looking for higher targets. Target higher, why? Because we could be in an Elliotist pattern with wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4, wave 5, okay? So we would have had all of this as being a large wave 1. So when it is like that, we will look for the fractality of this large wave 3 with a wave 1, wave 2. So there we would be in the retracement of the wave 2, which can be deep, which can be strong. So we can go for why not the 886. And then prepare a wave 3, which would have strong momentum to make wave 4, wave 5, and finish the big 3 with a target 1.618 in the $2. So on the other hand, obviously we understand well in relation to everything I explained to you upstream, is that we are in a phase of hyper-speculation to arrive at this type of target. We have to have a narrative around artificial intelligence. We need to have incentive. We need to have news of FETCH. I don't think it will be profitable as it stands. And therefore, for the moment, it is imperative that we really have a form of FOMO that is built up and then surf this type of wave. All right? So we need to have a pool run which is very strong and which is also based on artificial intelligence. There we could have a very strong valuation of the FETCH. Nevertheless, for me, it seems logical on a next bull run to go and retest the peaks. Therefore, with a Fed which could go and retest the $1, $2 at a minimum. I think that I will do a very big TP if I have a very good entry on it. So we will look below in this area. I think that I will in fact go and look for the performance to do a big TP in the $1, $2, to then let it slide if there is still really FOMO, etc. But in any case, it's something that I will look for, to go and retest first here the $61 and then the Oneminus 2 to achieve superior performance. I hope you liked this video. If so, don't forget to leave me a like and a comment. It always makes me very happy. And if you liked this video, I'm sure you'll like the video I made on CKB, the Nervos Network Crypto. I'll put it here for you and we'll see you tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. for the daily news.